What if the thing that is quietly destroying you right now is not your past, not your failures, not the people who left you, but your decision made every single morning to simply ignore what you feel? What if you are not broken, but buried? Buried under years of "I'm fine," buried under years of pretending the wound closed when it only scabbed? What if every relationship you damaged, every opportunity you walked away from, every night you couldn't sleep was not bad luck, but the direct consequence of 5 words you never lived by? Let it hurt. Let it heal. Let it go. What if healing was never about being strong enough to forget, but being brave enough to feel? What if the version of you that is calm, clear, free, and fully alive is not far away, but is standing right behind the wall of pain you refuse to walk through? You have been avoiding something. You know exactly what it is. And today, right now, we are going to face it together. Stay with me, because what comes next might be the most important thing you hear this year. What if the most dangerous thing in your life right now is not what happened to you, but what you decided to do with what happened to you? What if the version of you that is anxious, disconnected, reactive, lost, and quietly suffering is not the real you, but a version of you that was created the moment you decided to stop feeling? There is something living inside you, something you have been carrying for months, perhaps for years, a wound, a memory, a name, a moment, something that changed you. Something you look away from every morning when you wake up, something you drown in work, in noise, in entertainment, in other people's problems, just so you never have to sit alone with it for more than 30 seconds. And I want to tell you something that most people will never tell you directly. That thing you are ignoring, it is not going away. It is growing. Imagine you are walking through a forest. Somewhere along the path, a thorn cuts into your foot. It is small. It is painful. But you are in a hurry. You have places to be. You have people to impress. You have a life to maintain. So you do what most people do. You keep walking. You adjust your steps slightly. You learn to walk in a way that protects the wound. You build an entire walking style around one small thorn, and 5 years later, your back hurts, your knees hurt, your posture is destroyed, your energy is gone. People around you notice that something is wrong but cannot identify what. Doctors examine your back, your knees, your posture, and nobody looks at your foot, because the original wound, that small thorn, was never addressed. This is precisely what emotional avoidance does to a human being. The mind is extraordinary. It is intelligent beyond your comprehension. When pain arrives, real pain, deep pain, the kind that shakes the foundation of who you believe yourself to be, the mind does something remarkable. It says, process this right now. Store it. And it stores it deep, somewhere you cannot immediately access, somewhere that feels safe. But stored pain is not resolved pain. Stored pain is deferred pain, and deferred pain collects interest. Every day you ignore it, it does not sit quietly in the storage room of your consciousness. It begins to leak. It leaks into how you speak to people you love. It leaks into how quickly you become angry over small things. It leaks into why you cannot fully trust anyone. It leaks into why intimacy frightens you. It leaks into why you self-sabotage every time something good begins to happen in your life. You are not a bad person. You are a person carrying something heavy that you were never taught how to put down. Now I want you to breathe for a moment. Just breathe. And I want to ask you something very direct. When was the last time you allowed yourself to fully feel something painful without immediately reaching for your phone, without immediately calling someone, without immediately filling the silence with anything, just you and the feeling and the willingness to stay in the room with it? For most people, the honest answer is never. Or so long ago I cannot remember. And this is the root. This is the source. This is where the destruction begins, not in what hurt you, but in the decision, made silently, unconsciously, repeatedly, to never let it hurt all the way through. There is an understanding in the deepest schools of human wisdom that says this: pain that is fully felt transforms. Pain that is avoided mutates. When a child falls and scrapes their knee, if someone sits with them, acknowledges the pain, lets the child cry fully, the child recovers quickly. The wound heals cleanly. The child gets up and runs again. But what happens when the child is told, "Stop crying, be strong, don't be weak, it's nothing"? The child learns something. The child learns that their pain is not valid. The child learns that their feelings are inconvenient. The child learns that the appropriate response to being hurt is to suppress, perform, and pretend. And that child, with this single lesson, begins a journey of emotional avoidance that can last an entire lifetime. Perhaps that child was you. Perhaps in some way, in some relationship, in some moment, in some experience, someone or something taught you that feeling was dangerous, that vulnerability was weakness, that acknowledging pain meant you were falling apart, and you believed it, and you have been paying for that belief every single day since. So let us talk about 5 words. 5 words that carry within them the entire architecture of genuine human transformation. Let it hurt. This is the first and most terrifying instruction. Let it hurt, not perform hurt, not talk about hurt intellectually, not journal about hurt while maintaining emotional distance, not describe your pain to someone while secretly watching yourself describe it, safely removed from actually feeling it. Let it hurt. This means sitting in stillness. This means breathing into the tightness in your chest. This means allowing the wave, the full wave, to rise inside you without grabbing for the shore. This means being present with your own suffering in the same way a skilled mountain guide stands steady in a storm. Not because the storm is comfortable, but because they know that running from the storm only prolongs the exposure. When you let it hurt, truly, completely, without escape, something remarkable happens. The pain reaches its peak, and then, because all things that are fully experienced are also fully completed, it begins to release. This is not philosophy. This is not spiritual language being used poetically. This is the actual documented, physiological, neurological reality of how human emotional processing works. An emotion, when fully felt, moves through the body in approximately 90 seconds. 90 seconds. But you have been running from the same emotion, the same wound, the same memory, the same fear for years because you never gave it 90 seconds. Let it heal. This is the second instruction, and it requires something that our modern world has nearly destroyed in us entirely: patience. Healing is not an event. Healing is a process, and it does not follow your calendar, your ego schedule, your desire to be over it already, or anyone else's timeline. We live in a world that has convinced us that everything should be fast. Fast food, fast communication, fast results, fast love, fast recovery. And when healing takes longer than we expect, when we wake up 2 months after the thing happened and still feel it, we tell ourselves something has gone wrong. Nothing has gone wrong. You are a human being, not a machine. And human beings heal on their own timeline, in their own sequence, in their own way. Letting it heal means creating the conditions for healing rather than constantly interfering with the process. It means stopping the habit of picking at the wound every day by rehearsing the story of your suffering to anyone who will listen. It means understanding that there is a difference between processing pain and performing pain. It means recognizing that healing requires not just release, but also nourishment, rest, silence, reflection, nature, movement, honest conversation, and above everything else, self-compassion. You cannot heal a wound by being cruel to yourself about having the wound. The way you speak to yourself in your most private moments, in the silence of your own mind, either accelerates your healing or continuously re-injures you. Many people are not being destroyed by what happened to them. They are being destroyed by what they say to themselves about what happened to them. I should have known better. I am so stupid. Why can't I just move on? Nobody will ever love someone like me. Every one of these thoughts is a hand pressing on the wound. Every one of these thoughts is a thorn being pushed deeper. Letting it heal means withdrawing that hand. It means speaking to yourself with the same tone you would use with someone you deeply love who is suffering. It means understanding that your wound does not define your worth. It only defines your current position on the path. And positions change, always. Let it go. This is the third instruction, and this one is the most misunderstood of all three. People hear let it go and they think it means forgetting. They think it means pretending it did not happen. They think it means excusing the person who hurt them. They think it means going back to who they were before. None of this is true. Letting go does not mean the experience disappears. Letting go means the experience no longer has authority over your present moment. There is a profound difference between carrying a stone and holding a stone. When you carry a stone, it is always on your back. It is with you in every conversation, every new relationship, every new opportunity. You feel its weight when you try to stand straight. You feel its presence when you try to move freely. The stone shapes everything: your posture, your pace, your choices, your capacity for joy. When you hold a stone, it is in your hand. You are aware of it. You know its weight, its texture, its history, but it does not carry you. You carry it consciously with full awareness, and when the moment is right, you can choose to set it down. Letting go is the movement from carrying to setting down. And you can only set something down when you have first been willing to pick it up consciously, to look at it fully, to understand it completely, to acknowledge its weight honestly, and then, with clarity and courage, to release it. This is why people who skip the first two steps, who never let it hurt, who never allow it to heal, cannot let it go, because they are trying to release something they have never actually held. They are trying to drop a weight they have never consciously lifted. You cannot release what you have not faced. Now I want to speak to something that lives in many of you, something that makes this entire process feel not just difficult, but impossible. The belief that if you let it hurt, you will break. That if you open that door, something will come flooding through that you will not survive. That the pain is too big. That the grief is too deep. That the anger is too old. That the loss is too total. That you are simply not equipped to face what lives on the other side of that closed door. And I want to speak directly to that belief. You are already living with the consequence of that pain every day, right now. The anxiety you feel, that is the consequence. The walls you build around